Hey, hey. What is up, you guys? Ooh, I do not like this layout. It's been a minute. Hold on, because why does it look like this? I don't like this. Oh, I know why. I know why. Y'all, it's been so long since I've been live. Hold on, let me see. Okay, this is about to be so ghetto, but I don't like to do all this while I'm already on the live. But welcome. Let me see if I can. Come on, baby. There we go. This feels so much better. What is up, you guys? I missed you guys so much. Um, I am not able to go live on both platforms at the time because StreamYard subscription is not a joke. It's like almost 500 a year, so it's like 80. It's like, well, I guess one of them is like 40 or something, but there's a lot. There's a lot going on, okay? I got to pay a lot of subscriptions to do this, guys. So this is why I need y'all to support me in liking and sharing, okay? Because those kind of things is what gets me paid on YouTube in order to be able to afford these subscriptions so that I can provide you guys with with really good content. Okay. Oh my goodness, y'all. It's been so long. Oh my goodness. Wait, Women Tree is not supposed to be, that banner is not even supposed to be up. This banner is supposed to be up. How have you guys been? What is up? I miss our chats. If I look sleepy, it's because I was sleeping. But I miss having our chats, and I really wanted to come on here and talk about this $10 raffle that I am doing to give you a chance to win a free multi-dimensional regression session. Okay. And we're going to talk about what it is a little bit. I'm going to try to keep this like, it'd be so cool if I can keep this 15 minutes. Like, y'all know that don't be happening though. Because when y'all come in here, y'all start asking questions, we start talking about stuff, and it's a whole thing. But let me see. So I'm doing this raffle. If you are not familiar with who I am De La Soul. Most likely you're familiar with that at least, but you may not be familiar with what I do. I am an intuitive coach. I channel extraterrestrials that have been channeling me since I was a child, and that is who I use to help guide me when I'm guiding others. And I also am a regression therapist, amongst a few other things. Obviously, a lot of you guys know I'm a dancer and I do birth work and all that stuff. But my main things here is intuitive coaching and regression therapy. And in regression therapy, it is just, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I did need to come here. But it is a complete transformational experience where you get to go into memories in this life, all of your memories, because we think that we don't have good memories, we think that we can't remember stuff and all that. But the truth is that when people think that they don't have good memories, what you're talking about is your conscious aware brain. I take you into your subconscious where all your memories exist. There is not a single memory that you have had in this lifetime or in another one that you don't actually have. It is stored inside of your nervous system. So I go inside of your nervous system and I take you through this journey of really rediscovering yourself, going through whatever experiences. Sometimes there's happy moments and happy memories and experiences that your subconscious wants you to have. And then sometimes we go into some trauma and we pull things out. The main purpose, which honestly, there's not one main purpose to this, but a main purpose is healing, rapid healing. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not seeing myself. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay, so yeah, rapid healing. So starting with the nervous system. All right. We have a lot of talk about nervous system lately, I feel like, which is a really good thing. But I don't think people really understand what they're talking about when they're talking about the nervous system. The nervous system is a network. It's a network system that runs all throughout your body. I don't feel like I posted this on YouTube, which I normally posted on all my platforms, but I posted like 4 days ago a picture of what the nervous system looks like. I'm gonna just show y'all real quick. But this is the system that allows me to heal people rapidly, and that allows me to take people into other lives. It allows me to help people to be able to see their deceased loved ones and be able to speak to them and get answers from them. It also allows me to help people to quantum create the life that they want. I truly do this work where people want to move out the country, or they want to, create another career or whatever. And I take them into an alternate brainwave. I calm down their nervous system, and we quantum create that experience. And that experience comes to them. It is a real thing. It is not no spiritual mumbo jumbo. You can go on my website, earthisschool.com, and you will see many reviews about stuff like this. But let me show y'all what the nervous system looks like. This is your nervous system. Ooh, let me show you that picture. This is your nervous system. All those stringy things right there. It's not bones, it's not cells. That is your nervous system. This system is what stores your memories from every single life that you've ever lived, every experience that you've ever had in this life and in others, including in your mother's womb. This system, without it, we can't breathe, we can't feel anything, we have no senses. This is like your channel to the other side. This is how your intuition works. I mean, it's everything. And this system is so much everything that it needs to be calmed down. That's why we have to sleep. That's one reason why we have to sleep, because it's the only time that it is calm, unless you're having like a bad dream or something. But normally during the day, most adults they don't have a calm nervous system. Most of you guys are in fight or flight mode and overthinking, and you are overanalyzing things, really spending a lot of time on the left side of your brain. So during these sessions, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about my multidimensional regression session, or MDR, and I am offering a $10 raffle that closes tomorrow. So if you haven't been seeing it, I'm so sorry, but tomorrow is the last day. I'll be announcing 3 winners tomorrow. So I'll probably wait like half the day and then I'll announce it. But this is like, the value of this is crazy. Like, if you look up, there's another sister that's doing this. Her name is Neoshi. She's been doing this work for a really long time, much longer than me. And her price is $1,000. It's like $1,500. That's how the value of this is just, it's really, even her price is not even enough. So my regular price is nowhere near that price, and it is not enough for what the value actually is. I want to make this clear, guys, because I don't think that people understand, like, this is so ahead of the game. This is so ahead of what therapy and psychology is actually going to be for people, that a lot of people just don't really understand what this is. So, nervous system, we're calming down your nervous system, and we are not only is that a thing, right? Not only is that scientifically proven to heal you, because your heart rate is being calmed down and rejuvenated. Your cells are being replenished when your nervous system is calm. There's so many things taking place. Your DNA, you could even say, is literally changing. If you look up a guy named Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he does a really good, he does really good studies showing what happens when a person's nervous system is calm and they go into the right side of their brain, and they either think certain thoughts where they want, what they want, or, whatever the situation is. I don't think Joe does like past life stuff, but just the basics of what I'm talking about, just for starters, just for you to spend this time calming your nervous system down is healing within itself. Now, this normally lasts about 4 hours. I want y'all to peep this right quick. Calming your nervous system down while you're awake for at least 4 hours is so healing. It does not feel like 4 hours. This is what I want y'all to get from this. This shows you the kind of realm that we're in and the kind of beings that we actually are. Because why does time stop when your brain wave is on a different, when your brain is on a different wave? No one feels like they're sitting there for 4 hours. It always feels like 30 or 40 minutes. We could do a session for 6 hours and you're going to be convinced that we were just there for 40 minutes. And that's just because time does not exist on the other side. So just being able to do that and just make it where time does not exist, where you're not racing and running and thinking and like all that alone is just so healing. But then what we do is we go into other lives. We only go to the lives that are significant and that affect you the most in this life. I'm trying to connect the dots when it comes to this because I don't want to confuse people, but I really want for us to get out of this idea that when I'm speaking about past lives and going into other lives and speaking to your deceased loved ones, that I'm talking about like some spiritual like mumbo jumbo thing. I don't even want to connect this to a spiritual thing. It's just you. It's just what it is. People are addicted to alcohol and other drugs and cigarettes, and they go to a practitioner that calms down their nervous system and takes them into an alternate state of mind, and they are able to stop that addiction immediately. Sometimes it takes a couple more sessions. I've done this. I've done this work. I was doing this 3 years ago. I have reviews on my website about this. So it happens all the time. There's the Institute of Hypnosis of something in California. Practitioners are using this on children that are autistic, that have epilepsy. I mean, they're getting rid of all types of neurological diseases and all types of stuff by taking someone into an altered state of mind and calming down their nervous system. So this is a science. Like, it's not something that's just like, you know, if you believe, then, you know, like, it's nothing like that. Your brain is real. And when you when you go to an altered state and you shut down all the chatter in the left side of your brain and you activate the right side, which is where your intuition is, your creativity, not only does your life change, guys, but your entire body. Like I said, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he has the science. Like, he does studies. You can pull up actual studies from all these doctors to show the difference between a person that was paralyzed before they ended up practicing how to take themselves into alpha theta state versus them making themselves no longer paralyzed. Like, it's a real thing. You just have to look it up. So we're doing this, right? During the session, we're doing this, and we're going into other lives because, again, without me having to convince you that this is not your only life, because I don't have time to do that. So without me convincing you or trying to convince you that this is not the only life that you live, I'm just going to say, this is not the only life that you live. This is not the only body that you are in. Mostly all of you have been a fat white guy or a skinny little white girl or whatever shape, Hispanic, or like, yes. Most of you, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your fifth time, your 50th time. Most of you have been here hundreds of times. And this is not something that I found out through me doing these sessions. I've been knowing this since I was a very little girl because I have always been channeled the message that we have been here so many times. This is not our first rodeo. I just didn't know that, you know, 30 years later, I will be taking people through that experience. So it's very, very real. And you have things, sometimes you even have pain that you can't explain, but you have relationships, you have habits, you have all types of things that come from other lives. I just don't have time to convince you about this, but it does. And a lot of you guys, I mean, it's kind of funny how humans disconnect ourselves from these facts, because we will meet somebody or know someone our whole life and be like, oh, it just feels so familiar. It feels like we know each other. Or we'll be at a place and experience deja vu. Many of you, especially if you're highly intuitive, you experience so many times of deja vu. And like, we literally, like, you'll have a talent or interest that you can't really explain, something that you're really good at, and you'll be like, oh, it just feels like I did this before. But it's like, we don't really want to register that you're right. It's like we don't want to know how right we are when we're saying and feeling those things. So absolutely, it's a real thing. I have had clients who came to me wanting to know, like, how come the relationship with their children is, or with a certain child is kind of awkward, or like they have a lot of conflict or something. And they're just like, I don't know what it is, but it's just something about this child. And then we go into a past life and come to find out the child was their ex and they unalived them, or their child was someone that they were sleeping with their spouse on and they hated them. And, you know, like, I mean, there's so many different scenarios, but that's what's happening. And it's amazing to see. So, okay, pause. We're going through the past lives, right? And you're getting all these things. People are getting all these revelations and all these confirmations about who they are today. Sometimes you see that you have a pattern or a habit, and you find it out in the past life how you developed that habit, which is one of the most amazing things for me to witness on the other side, right? Like watching the client. So we're going through that. We're releasing stuff. We literally release the trauma and the burden before we move on. And people literally feel this, okay? Like my clients will tell me, I can feel this leaving in my body. Like it's like a burden that you didn't even know was weighing you down, and we lift it up, okay? Mind you, again, we are all the way tapped into your subconscious brain. Your cells and your blood has changed. You're very much aware and alive in this experience. You can smell what's going on. People can be in the woods and they can smell the woods. I've had a client who was having was starting a sexual experience in the session, and they could literally feel it's a real thing, guys. I know it sounds crazy because our linear brain has been taught that if you're like if your physical flesh is not leaving and vanishing, then you're not having that experience. But that's not true. It's just not true. Everything else can have that experience. And especially if your nervous system and your subconscious is having that experience, it's going to have that experience and you're going to get everything from that. Okay, so really amazing. We go through these lives. We don't, normally it's at least 2 lives, but it just depends. Sometimes we go by really fast and my guides might say, let's do another one. We got to do another one. Let's try another one. And I kind of know, like, there's certain things that your subconscious, let me say this. This is going to help you understand what I'm saying. There's certain things that God wants you to get from this that you don't know. You know how we do this human thing where we want to control everything and we think that we're the drivers of our life and we think we know where we're headed, like this whole thing that we just overwhelm ourselves. Source is running this session, okay? I'm not running this session. God is running this session for us. So there are things that God knows, Source knows, your higher self, because there's no separation between you and God. It's the same thing. So there's certain things that you know, the consciousness awareness is aware that you're supposed to get. And we go through those things that is needed. And it's just amazing how people might start off being afraid, or they might start off just having no idea what to expect, but they end up getting exactly what they needed and what they were looking for. So after we go through the lives and we, you know, let go of whatever things that you died with, let me say this too, so this can make more sense. In every life that you live, most of us are not letting go. Just like right now, most of you guys watching this, you are holding on to something, right? Especially if you're dealing with any kind of dis-ease. You are holding on to something that someone did to you, something in your past. There's some type of resentment that you had. Sometimes it's not even another person. Sometimes it's yourself, right? So what happens is that if you make it to your death, I'm talking about in this life, right? Of course, I'm talking about in other lives, but I just want to speak to you right now for this life. If you do not forgive and let go, if you do not forgive yourself and let go, if you do not accept that person and what you two were supposed to do together, that trauma that you got from that, if you die here and you don't let that go, you are going to have to experience it again in another way. It's just what we came here to do. It's almost like a no-brainer of you dying with something on your heart and that not being a complete thing, right? So you literally come here with it. And so that's what we're doing in the session, at least that portion of the session. Hello, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. If you guys are enjoying this video, this live, please thumbs up, share for anybody that needs this information. Right now, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about my $10 raffle that is closing tomorrow. I'm doing this raffle to offer a free MDR session. You can cash at me here, $10. You can enter to win however many times you want. And I'll share the Zelle in a minute. And yeah, I'm just explaining how powerful this session is and what it means. So after we go into your past lives and you literally experience this, we go into meeting with your soul team. So this is my favorite part of the whole session. Once we make it here, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't even really need to do any more guidance because your guides are taking over. So if you guys are familiar with NDE experiences, if you ever listen to someone's near-death experience, if you haven't, do yourself a favor and go down the rabbit hole of children, from children to elderly. There is millions of videos online on YouTube and stuff of them telling about the experience they had when they died. You know, people die all the time and come back to life. That happens every single day. People die for a few seconds, a few minutes, or people go into a coma for a few weeks or a few months. So when you read about or watch videos on people telling these stories, there is a consistent pattern that you're going to find. And that pattern is that when they die, whether it is for a few minutes or a few seconds, they all of a sudden have this feeling that comes over them that feels really peaceful and blissful. Like they will just be like, they just felt so much love and they were just wrapped with like unconditional love. It just felt so good that it just made them not even want to come back. Like they were just like, it just felt so good. And then they describe, sometimes they describe them as stars at first, but they describe these lights and they talk about, now this is real, go and research this yourself. There's too many videos for this to be a debate. Then they talk about these lights that they experience. They see themselves as light usually, and they see their grandmother who passed away. They see source energy. Some people see Jesus. Some people see, like, it's a bunch. That's very rare when people see Jesus, but some people do. And and it's just these light beings, right? Sometimes the beings will show up when people die and they come back. Sometimes the beings will show up as an actual being, but most of the time, a consistent thing is them being just pure light. Okay, so the description that I just gave you, that people, you know, have expressed whenever they die and come back to life, is the same exact description that all of my clients that make it to the end, when we cross over and they feel their death, they have this same exact expression. They talk about feeling blissful and feeling love. I already know because I've done this enough times now. So when they go through the end of that portion of whatever life that we're going to end it with, they go into the afterworld and they can feel the love. They feel unconditional love. They feel this blissfulness. They feel this tranquility. And then they start to describe stars, which I know are their ancestors or their soul team source energy. So once we get to this point, now this is the fun part, because you get to ask your guides any question. It doesn't matter what the question is. So if any of you guys have ever thought about getting a reading or you're into getting readings, I do readings as well. But I love this kind of reading because you're just getting it from the horse's mouth, you know? Like it's not me channeling into my guides and giving you information. It's just you're the one telling me, and you know your grandma better than I do, you know, like, you know, your aunt or whoever is there, your parents that have passed away, your child, and here they are on the other side speaking to you, and they're answering questions, a list of questions that you have written down before the session. And I do mean any freaking question. So it's so cool. It's so cool to witness that. And I think that my most favorite part about this is honestly the closure that people get who are grieving. If you have a loved one who's passed away and you have been grieving them, or you would like some closure, or maybe you're not necessarily grieving them, but you just have moments of being sad and not really understanding, or just really missing them even. If that's you, you need to do an MDR session, because it is, like, one of my clients called it a cheat code to healing from grieving, because you right up front and center with source. It's not anybody preaching to you, telling you nothing. You're not reading any information. It's your experience with your body, your blood, and your cells, and you are able to see the person, hear the person. They are able to you're able to feel them, and it's just another level of power. Like I just can't describe how powerful that is to witness someone who I've had clients who have lost their spouses, and sometimes it's frustrating when you lost someone that you love and you hear about other friends and family members having dreams of them or seeing them, and then that maybe didn't happen for you. You're like, okay, so when is this person going to show up for me? And a lot of times it doesn't happen because you might be clouded with the grief, you might be overwhelmed, stressed out, stuff like that. So just being able to have the opportunity to quiet all that chatter down and to go into this state where you can see your loved one and you can ask them, what happened that night, what happened that day, did this really happen, what should I do with this, this is powerful stuff, y'all. It's not crazy and it's not scary. It's a permission slip. It's a permission slip that we, our higher selves, source, whatever you want to call it, like humans and all these categories that we have, but we have allowed ourselves to have this permission slip, and it's easy to do. This is something that I do on children. It is safe and it is easy. We would not be able to do it if we couldn't do it. And the way that it's so easy to do, it just wouldn't be something that we should be able to do if we couldn't do it like this. So it's literally a permission slip to be able to understand yourself more, to be able to gain clarity. I love how as humans, like you guys hear me talk a lot about being in this world of feeling. Like everything is about feeling here. Feelings is the language that we don't even have to learn, right? You came here to feel. So being that earth is such a dense feeling place, things feel very deep. Things feel very deep, and we take a lot of shit really serious, right? A lot of times, and when you cross over, most of the souls that cross over, they say like, I spent a lot of time on that subject. Like that situation was so big. I spent a whole year, sometimes a whole 15, 20 years on that subject, right? So I just love that during these sessions, you are able to feel how it feels to really be in your true form. And when people are done, they're like, dang, like circumstances really don't matter. Like I was really so worried about this and that, and I really got caught up on that. And it's just so like, I can't think of, I mean, besides birth, besides me helping women give birth without pain, that's a really powerful thing. But I just can't think of anything else that I would rather be doing than helping people get this instant trauma release and this instant, like this rapid healing and confirmation that doesn't come from any, like there's no middleman, you know. We're not talking about you going to someone that's telling you information. It's you. I'm just guiding you through it. Like it really don't get no better than this. Okay? If you're just tuning in, I'm doing a $10 raffle. It closes tomorrow. I'm so sorry because I've been live on my Facebook. I can't go live in both places anymore for now. So $10 is an opportunity of a lifetime. Like this session, my regular price for this session is $200, which is the most affordable. I don't think you're going to find anybody that can do anything like this for $200. If you look up a sister named Neoshi Hypnotherapy or something like that, Neoshi is bomb. She's been doing this longer than me, and she does a really good job. Baby girl's price is $1,500. Seriously, like she has a session she does for $3,000, and the other one is $1,500. That is how much this is actually valued. Like that's how much the value is of this. And I want to give this prediction. I've done this before, but I'm going to say it again and again because I need y'all to remember this. Okay, people are going to be looking at this video like 50 years from now, and they're going to be like, oh my God, that girl said it. When it comes to therapy, you guys, when it comes to counseling and therapy, we are stepping away from that. There are, if you read any articles on this, I'm a psychology major, so I'm big on psychology. I was taking psychology in school. It's like an obsession of mine when it comes to how humans work, and especially like neuroscience, how our brains work. So I was reading articles like 10 years ago that was talking about psychologists starting to accept words like empath and, you know, certain spiritual connections and certain things that have like stepping, like basically blending in those kind of terms for mental health and stuff like that. So that was slowly happening 10 years ago. But as we move forward to this new world, this new earth, this new awakening that people are going through, it's going to happen even more. And therapy as we know it, getting a counselor as we know it, or getting counseling, it's not going to be what it's been anymore, because words don't teach, they only inspire. So people are going to start to step into this normalcy of receiving therapy from someone who is taking them into another brainwave, who's actually doing sessions with them where they're calming down their nervous system and they're assisting them with like real physical change, like rewiring the brain, because the old way isn't working. Honestly, for so many people, it hasn't. I'm not dissing therapy. Like I said, I'm a psychology major. I dropped out of psychology because I felt like it was moving too slow. I felt like for what I'm supposed to do, I don't want to learn about Sigmund Freud and the Adler psychology theory all day, all these, you know, different white men in psychology. I already knew how to assist people, you know. I just didn't know how I was going to do it, but using my guides, it was already too natural. I was already doing it. So I just felt like this is slowing me down. But I am glad that I had the experience because I was able to see that. And I'm telling y'all, I get this message. It's very clearly 20 years, 50 years. I don't know the exact amount of years, but it's happening and it's going to be different. Psychologists and therapists are going to be implementing these breathing techniques like the ones that I used to do with you guys when I would come live and we would breathe in our nose and out our mouth like we're blowing candles. People are going to be doing this in their practices because it's just, we're no longer subscribed to this thing of just a bunch of talk. Like, it's good to vent. It's definitely good to express. It's very therapeutic to let your stuff out. But not only do you need someone who understands life from a broader perspective, because you're not a human having a soul, a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So not only is more of that going to be needed, but again, words don't teach, they only inspire. You need to rewire your brain. And the collective, us as humans, we are going to be understanding this more than we ever have in the future. This is the last prediction I'm going to say. I'm going so far to say that in the next 100 years and moving forward for the rest of the remainder of humanity, people are going to be calling themselves spiritual psychologists. It's not just going to be, I'm a psychologist. It's going to be, what's your occupation? Oh, I'm a spiritual psychologist. It's going to be that level. Okay. So get ahead of the game. And it's just like, it's so funny. Let me see what time. Okay, it's 33. I'm going to share this little bit and then I'm going to go. It's so funny when I think back on the messages that my guides have been giving me about this stuff, because you just don't never know. Like, people think that if you're a reader or channeler, they think that the information that you share is always with you and that's how you are. But that's not true. There are people who don't practice anything that they channeling and sharing because it's not all the way them. It's another being. You're getting this from source or from whichever. Some people channel their ancestors specifically. For me, it's galactic beings, but it's not the same. Like, just because I know this information, it doesn't mean that it's just going to always be like in my forefront, in my frontal lobe every day. And it's going to always, I do actually, let me just say, I do tend to practice what I am preaching, but there's definitely levels to this, because there's things that I share and I don't really even understand it. You know, I go back and I'm reading it or I'm listening to it and I'm like, wow, like I needed to hear that, you know, like this didn't come from me solely. So it's just like when it comes to this and I think back on the messages that I received and certain things, even where we're headed now with the talk of the nervous system, it's amazing. If you've been seeing like in spiritual or conscious communities or whatever, even if you're not on that, people have been talking about the nervous system. And my guides have just been telling me for so long that the approach to healing is going to change. They've been telling me that. I've been posting about this, y'all. If you've been following me, I've been talking about this for like 7 years, and how healing doesn't have to be so long and so drawn out and so traumatic. And so I've been putting a cap on healing, and people argue with me. And they be like, you can't put a time frame on somebody healing. I'm not saying that it should take you this long and that long. If you're using the methods that you've been using, it's going to take however long it's going to take. But I'm telling you, there's a way. There's a way, and it has to do with not a bunch of venting and telling the story over and over again, a bunch of shadow work, and you're writing the story down again and again. It has to do with you just taking yourself into an alternate brainwave and experiencing another version of yourself. Or in this case of what I'm offering, going into a past life and figuring that out, figuring out those traumas and those habits, and also speaking to your loved ones and your guides on the other side. I literally direct your guides to take over your body and heal you. And if you look at any of the videos when I've shared this portion, I think one of my first MDR videos on my channel is the video when I'm doing a K-Bot session, and you can see him there. And I'm directing his guides to feel, hug his soul and to fill up his body with codes of love and confidence. And you can see it, like you can see his body, like he's moving. He starts to do this movement and he can feel it through his body. So it's a very real thing. And it's not scary. If you believe in, it doesn't matter what you believe in, like think about what I'm saying here. Why don't you think that your God would allow for something like this to take place, for people to get real healing, and it not be about like herbs and about like, just asking and begging for healing or like going to medicine? Why not it be you? Like you're the greatest source that can heal yourself. So why not it be you finally, like, calming yourself down, calming your nervous system, and quieting that chatter and going into that state where you could do that. That sounds like the best, easiest way to me. Absolutely. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna end this in a minute because I don't want to be on here too long. But there is a raffle, guys. The raffle closes tomorrow. $10, $10 meta, okay? $10 to enter in the raffle. You can go to my website, earthisschool.com, if you want to learn more about what the MDR session is about. I have a really good Q&A there. But you don't need all that information. Like people be like, I really want to do this, but I feel like I need to heal first. What are you talking about? This is the healing. Don't come to me healed. I don't want you. If you're healed, I don't even want to like, I want you damaged as ever. Come to me in the most damaged form. Come to me when the grievance just started this morning. Like, come to me when the heartbreak just came down. Like, whatever the thing is, the trauma, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, this is not something that you're supposed to be showing up healed. You're doing something that, first of all, cannot be done just with anybody in any time and any day. This is again, I'm ahead of the game with this. I'm telling you guys that this is going to be a thing, and like 10 more years, people are going to start really talking about it. And then another like 10 after that, maybe longer than that, it's going to be a big thing. So even if you're a healer yourself, maybe this is one of your callings to do something like this. But I have not been wrong yet with my predictions, and I think I am really accurate with what the message that I'm getting about this stuff. So take advantage now if you can. $10. A bunch of people they hit me up and say that they want to do the sessions, but they can't pay for the whole thing. So this is your opportunity. I'm picking 3 winners tomorrow. Hey, London. Oops, sorry. Is that Landon? My eyes, baby. Landon. So yeah, I'm picking 3 winners tomorrow. And I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited for where healing is headed. Like, we've been doing so much of like stagnant healing. Like, people have not really been healing. It's not really been healing. If you like go through a heartbreak, right? And if the story that you're telling about the heartbreak is whatever, it don't even matter what the story is, but then your response to the heartbreak is like, you gotta shit on the dude. Like you gotta stun on him, and you gotta like, cut your hair and get the new car and get the new career going. You gotta show him that you the one. Like, that's actually not really healing. Like, that's not really what's happening. Like, it's actually something going on behind the veil where you two created this experience. And this person, if they hurt you, they're actually just really afraid. That's really what is coming from that. So, I mean, I'm just giving one example, but there's so many things. Let's say it's not a heartbreak. Let's say it's just someone hurt you, period. Like, we're not really actually getting through it. You know, like life goes on, things get better. You know, you learn things, you learn how to maneuver differently, but it's not what's really happening for the majority of us in the collective. It's not what we think it is. And that's why we're all fucked up. That's why the world is how it is, like super toxic. Everybody has narcissistic traits. Every single being on this earth, everybody. And this is why we're actually not getting through it. We are getting through it, but we're not. Like, if that makes sense. We're not having the perspective that source, that God really wants us to have, this unconditional love, the love that we truly feel for each other on the other side. Like, you think you hate the president. You think you hate the president. But on the other side, we love that man. We love everybody. And we're all working together in this collective to make sure that Earth does what we all agreed for Earth to do this time around. I know that's intense. I know that truth is intense, but that's what's really happening. The Bible describes us as this tree with a bunch of branches. There's so many scriptures that are talking about how we're not actually separate, how we're really all together. We're really one in a collective, and we're not separate from source. Even in the Quran, they have examples and different metaphors and things to show us this. I truly believe that mostly every religious text is trying to give us what's really going on, but we're just not getting it. You know, the interpretation has not been interpreting. So that's really what's happening. And during a session like this, you really understand that it's your experience. You can't, like, nobody can take that from you, you know? It's not something that you have to read about. It doesn't require knowledge. It just requires you letting go, which is the same thing that life requires. So I'm going to let y'all go. I see y'all have no questions. That is perfectly fine. You can message me if you know my Facebook. I don't share my other platforms. Well, I share my Instagram. But Facebook, if you know it, then that means that you're supposed to know it and message me there. Or you can email me at daylight. Let me see if I have my email. Boom, bada, bang, bop, bang, bop, bam. Okay, so daylight@earthisschool.com. I will email you back within 24 hours or less. And yeah, take advantage of the screen here. You can take a screenshot of it if you like. Screenshot, Cash App, $10 meta. It closes tomorrow. There will be 3 winners. This is my Zelle. Let me make sure that's right. Oil Indigo, yes. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions, because sometimes StreamYard does not give me all the questions. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. Okay, yeah. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was good information for you. And yes, until next time, let me share my site in case you didn't get that. Earthisschool.com. I don't even know. Maybe I don't have my site on there. Oh, that's not it. Well, maybe I don't have my, why would I not have that? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Until next time, thank you for rolling with me. Peace out.